5 years ago this week, this is really good. I think people might like this. People may not remember this. There's this friend of ours, Darryl Roberts. He goes or used to go by Sir Darryl, who has a radio program. And he used to make these calls where he would call different people. He would call them research calls. And he would incorporate either Lewis or he would incorporate me into them. He hasn't done these calls for a while. We used to love these calls, and I recently got in touch with Darryl and told him it would be great if he could do more of these. There's one he did where there was this huge Charlie Sheen scandal where he was on tape losing it over something. And what Sir Darryl got the idea to do 5 years ago was call TMZ, the gossip website TMZ, and pitch to them a hypothetical explosive story about how poorly I was treating Lewis in the studio, how I was on drugs and I would go completely crazy when Lewis would try to take his shoes off in the studio, which is something he used to do and still sometimes does. And as he's literally doing right now, as I mentioned this, it seems to have reminded him that he's wearing shoes today. So let's play a little bit of this. This is Darryl Roberts 5 years ago calling TMZ to pitch an obviously non-existent celebrity gossip story to TMZ. And TMZ obviously has no idea what the David Pakman Show is, but they seem sort of interested. Take a look.
Some calls here. I want to do a little bit of research on this. I think that the victim of my research will be host of the David Pakman Show, David Pakman, and find out how much people are purchasing this information for.
Let's see.
If I were to call TMZ and I had some dirt on David, would they be interested?
TMZ.
Hi, good afternoon, ma'am. I was calling because, I noticed that you guys have been doing a lot of reports about Charlie Sheen. And with all of the stuff that's been happening with Charlie, I think that you guys are missing a humongous opportunity right now with David Pakman, host of the David Pakman Show. I think he's spiraling out of control even more than Charlie Sheen. And I actually have contact with David. I kind of work for him. And I've got video footage of David screaming at Lewis about not being able to wear his shoes inside of the studio.
Who is it again, David?
Pakman.
So at this point, it becomes clear, obviously nobody knows who I am, that nobody has any record of me at TMZ, but that doesn't stop Darryl.
KMAN, host of the David Pakman Show. I think he's on drugs. I'm not sure because I haven't seen him use it in the studio, but I've seen this insane behavior. And I've started to record it because I don't think that we're going to be in production much longer. And I wanted to know whether or not you guys would even be able to utilize this stuff.
Yeah, I can take a look at it.
Sure.
Okay.
Let's see, where is this?
So at this point, she's looking for the file about the David Pakman Show at TMZ, and she realizes there is no such file, obviously, because we keep all of our scandals under wraps.
The David Pakman Show?
Yeah, the David Pakman Show. I mean, he is...
Is this a radio show?
Yeah, it's a radio show. Well, he's on television and radio. I think it's on 130 some odd radio
like that, yeah.
and about 35 television stations. And I mean, the guy has been losing it lately. He's been yelling at people, and Lewis has been taking the brunt of it. And they don't know that I've been recording this. So, I mean, I'm not violating anything just by getting you guys the video footage, right?
Not as long as you took it with your own camera.
Oh, I have an iPhone. And when David, you can kind of see this weirdness and wackiness in his eyes. And when I see he's going to come on something, I'll just put my iPhone in its cradle, but the camera's rolling. And David has been going bananas.
At this point, she thinks this is real, right? For sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll take a look at it.
All right. Now, you guys are not going to, if I send it to you, you won't utilize it without letting me know, right?
Correct.
Because I haven't sent it to anyone yet.
You send it in, and then what I do is I let my producers know.
Right.
If we can utilize it, then what will happen is somebody's going to give you a call.
Okay.
They'll negotiate a purchase price with you.
Great.
What could the purchase price be, Lewis, for me on a rant about you not wearing your shoes, assuming it was real?
Depends on how good the rant is, I guess.
It can't be more than a couple $100, right?
Depends on how
explosive.
How explosive, but also, I mean, okay, if it's you doing this, it's one thing. If it's a video of Charlie Sheen telling me I can't wear my shoes in the studio.
Have any idea that it was me who said it, or Lewis? I wouldn't want David or Lewis to find out.
Thank you.
No, we write these things from a completely anonymous point of view.
Great. How do I get it to you?
Okay, you can email it.
Okay. I know you can't tell me specifically, but has anyone else thus far sent you any of these David Pakman rampages?
No, and to be honest with you, I haven't heard of this show, so I'm going to have to do some research.
So we've asked Darryl to do more of these, nothing so far. And I just want to play for people now. This is arguably the funniest moment ever from Sir Darryl. This was when he did one when Lewis brought a knife onto a plane. I'm sorry, a multi-tool which contained a knife blade. He called an airline, and in his setup, he seemed to have gotten confused about who he was pretending to be, and he coined a term that I absolutely love. Take a listen to this.
I'll go in Atlanta. Yes, we service Chicago Midway to Atlanta.
Okay, great. I just wanted to make sure. I'm looking to possibly book a flight, but I need to find out. I have a question. I travel. I'm a worksmith, and I travel with these things that are called.
By the way, what
That's
is
the
a
best.
worksmith?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Worksmith. Apparently, a combination of a blacksmith and a worker is what that meant.
Yes.
Favorite Sir Darryl moment ever.
It's good. It's a good one. It's the best one.
So hopefully Sir Darryl will continue creating more of these, because I think that the last couple of years of the show are rife with opportunities for more of this stuff. And I encourage you in the audience to encourage Sir Darryl to do more of these research calls.